Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks. It tiptoes into your life like the warmth of sunlight, slipping quietly through your curtains. You don't even notice it at first until you feel it resting gently on your skin. And yet, there's a part of you that wonders, is this real? Or am I just imagining the softness in his eyes when he looks at me? We've all been there, caught in that tender ache between hope and doubt, afraid to believe too much. Because the heart remembers what it's like to be wrong. But love, especially a man's quiet love, it often hides in the smallest things, not in grand speeches or bold confessions, but in the moments when he thinks no one is paying attention. If you listen closely, if you notice the unspoken, you might just find the truth that's been blooming right beside you all along. Sign 1. Sometimes it's in the way he remembers, not the big things anyone could recall, but the delicate little details you only mention once, like how you take your coffee, the song that reminds you of your childhood, or the way you get quiet when you're lost in thought. A man who's secretly in love will store these details like tiny treasures and bring them back to you when you least expect it, not because he has to, but because he wants you to feel seen. Sign 2. It might also be in the way he watches you, not with the casual glance of a friend, but with an unguarded softness, like he's memorizing the way you exist. You catch it when he thinks you're not looking. That lingering second is longer than necessary, and sometimes that gaze says everything his lips are too shy to speak. Sign 3, but the sign you should never ignore, is when he shows up for you in the quiet storms. Not just when you're laughing, glowing, and easy to love, but when you're tired, messy, complicated, when you're not your most charming self, and he still chooses to stay close, when he holds the edges of your chaos without making you feel like a burden. That's not just kindness. That's love wearing its most honest face. Sign 4. There's also the way he protects you, not in a controlling way, but in a way that says, your heart matters to me. Maybe it's walking on the side of the street closest to the traffic, or quietly making sure you're safe when you travel home at night. Sign 5. These aren't grand gestures meant to impress. They're instinctive, like breathing, because somewhere deep inside, loving you feels natural to him. And then there are his words. Sometimes they don't sound romantic at all. They might even be wrapped in teasing or playful banter. But beneath the surface, there's a thread of care, a softness that slips through when he says things like, "Did you get home safe?" or "Text me when you're okay." A man in love often speaks in small questions that mean, "I'm thinking of you even when you're not here." And maybe part of you is scared to name it, because naming it makes it real. And real things can break, but love in its purest form doesn't demand. It just shows up over and over until you realize it's been holding your hand all along. I used to think men only confessed their feelings in big cinematic ways, until I learned the truth. One day, a friend shared something with me, a way of understanding a man's heart so deeply that his feelings became undeniable, even to him. It wasn't about chasing or guessing. It was about unlocking a part of him that wanted to love but didn't know how to show it. If you've ever wished you could see the truth of his heart without wondering, there's something I discovered that might change everything. I'll leave it for you below in case your heart is ready, because when a man is secretly in love, it's often in the pauses. The way he listens to you without rushing to answer. The way he lets you be fully yourself without trying to fix or change you. Love, true love, makes space, and you'll feel it even in the quiet. So, if you've been wondering, look for the moments that feel like home, the way his presence steadies you, the way his absence feels like something is missing from the air. Because love rarely arrives with a trumpet. More often, it slips in gently, sits beside you, and waits for you to notice. And when you do, I hope you choose to believe it. Because you, my love, are worth being chosen in silence and celebrated in the light. If this touched something inside you, stay close. There's a whole world of love we can discover together. You don't have to figure it out alone. Thank you, friends.